All right, welcome back everyone. We are Destination Full-Time RV. I am Tyler. Behind us we have our 2021 Jayco Eagle 29.5 BHDS. This is the rear bunk with the outside kitchen. We love this camper. We've had it about a year. We used it 50 nights last year for the 2021 camping season. Like I said, love this camper, personalizing it, making it our own. Some things we've changed. Wanted to show you guys one thing that we kind of talked to our manufacturer, or I guess the people that sold us the camper, and asked them if they could change, and they didn't want to do it for us. Tried to find a couple people around that would do it for us, and nobody wanted to touch it, so I'm gonna do it. What it is we love the setup of this camper. We love the bunkhouse in the back. We love the way the kitchen's set up. One thing we're lacking is a pantry. So it has a lot of space up here behind this cabinet. Unfortunately, I'm 6'2", and you can't get back into there. So we were asking if they would move the TV up here for us and move the cabinet doors down. Makes it, there's a lot of storage back there as well. Just unable to get to it real easy with the TV. I think it's more practical to move it up. So plan is, gonna use the brackets in the doors. The doors will fit over these holes real easy. And then I would like to not drill into this, but maybe make a bracket of plywood, or I don't know, just little studs behind here, and then maybe put a 6x6 piece of plywood and screw into those. That way we can mount the bracket for the TV onto that and never have to put a screw in here. So I think I can put some kind of brace and then screw that into a piece of plywood. So our goal is to move the TV back here. All of our outlets and wiring are right here. So we will have no trouble. You know, there's a fake wall behind this little panel. You can either go down through and then pop back out here, or you can, I may just drill a hole right through the corner here and go down and just plug in. So one thing we will have to do, this mount for the TV will swivel left to right like this, obviously, but it will not swivel down. So once we get the cabinet moved down, we'll have to buy either a different mount or maybe a whole new TV. We'd like to get something where we can do, you know, Roku. So maybe that. Down here, where they have the TV mounted right now, my plan is to use this board. It's got the same color. Obviously, I won't have to match stain. And I will just pull this out, and I'll find a spot where there's no screw holes, and I'll trim down to match, you know, this size. That way when the door's shut, there'll be no holes exposed. So I think we should have a pretty good idea of how to tackle this project. Like I said, I did measure. These openings are a little bit smaller than what these doors are currently covering, so I will have no trouble there. And then the TV should take up most of this, just like it does down here, and just makes it way easier for a pantry. My wife is like 5'3", 5'4", and this just makes it way more practical for both of us. We can still reach that back there. We'll still be able to pull the TV out, but for stuff we rarely use up high behind the TV, you know, more practical application down here. So we're gonna get after this project and start stripping this TV down and try to get, first of all, get the doors moved down. So let's see how it goes. Alright, yeah, so that turned out to be a real pain. Basically, we had this HDMI cable that ran down through here, all the way through there and behind your Furrion. Had to take this panel off that was in behind this cabinet here. That was a bunch of small staples in. Kind of a pain in the butt. So we got that out now. I think we're good to go ahead and we'll get this TV pulled off of here. So these are only 1/2 to 3/4 inch screws, which makes me think, you know, it's not going to take a whole lot to build myself something up there that's going to have enough support to hold this. So, 2 more. And there I can feel it starting to want to come off. And there it's mine. Boy, I like to drop that screwdriver. Me too. Okay, that's step 1. So, my plan is, before I go and do anything up here, I want to pull this and make it the new this little center bracket mount piece of wood thing. So in order to do that, look at all this storage back here though. I mean, my hand goes all the way back there on that. This is going to be so nice to be able to open that up. Kids will be able to hit their head off it when they come out of the bunk. Put in the comments below if you think this is something Jayco should do. I know the 2022s, you lose a little bit on the outside kitchen. It's like a hybrid if you ask me. You lose a little bit on the outside kitchen. You keep the nice bunks. But you get a pantry. This actually swings out and you get a pantry behind there. Oh my gosh, we watched the 2022 review and we're kind of like a little bit jealous. Like we should have waited 1 more year if we would have known. But the BHOK, which is the bunkhouse outside kitchen, it's a very comparable model to this BHDS bunkhouse dual slides. We didn't like the bunks. The bunks were a little bit too small for our kids. So that's why we went with this one, which we love this camper. There it is. Okay. So that really opened that up. Look at that. There's a little O-ring that they use just to make it nice and fancy for when you go up through. I might just put a little, I'll probably put a mat in here that'll cover that right up. Plan is I'll just move this over here. Because instead of coming up now, it'll go down. And I will have to drill one through there still, but yeah. Okay, so my next project now is, okay, so my, okay, for these cabinets, this board right here is 3.5 inches. So I need to find a spot in here where I can get 3.5 inches. And then when I put it up, these small little holes, unless I decide to kind of fill them and sand them and cover them, but I don't really want to get into that right now. Of that 3.5 inches, I need 2.5 where there's no holes showing, right? I don't want these to be showing. So 2.5 inches. Which I can do. Perfect. So I go right through this strip right here. That'll be, my 3.5 inches will come off of this right here. My 2.5 inches will be right there in the center. And you won't even be able to see these. The doors will cover them. Next thing is this is roughly 19 1/4 on the dot. So as you can see, they use this to screw into, which isn't awesome. So basically between there, I don't even know how that one's on there. What did I say, 19 1/4? 19 1/4. I need 19 1/4. So 19 1/4 will get me between those holes. So I roughly did this before I took it off. That's actually 20 1/2. 20 1/2. So I can get a 19 1/4 by 3 1/2 piece where you're not going to be able to see any of those holes. I like that. I'm kind of anxious to put my doors on. I kind of want to put the doors on quick, move these down, just to get an idea of what it's going to look like, even without that in it right now. Let's do that. That sounds more fun than going to cut that. Alright, let's do something fun. Let's take these off, move them down, see what it's gonna look like. I think that's exciting. Right. Little figure. Let's see. So I knew that these were going to kind of come up a little bit. So I'm going to have them set a little low, which will make it flush there. Shouldn't be a problem. So I'm going to get a rough idea of where I want this to set. I think just flush there. This way. Now I'm just going to mark it. Oh, there's your first problem. Those are too far. Those are fancy too. So these don't seem to fit in here, which is your first problem. There's always a first problem. I mean, they are missing by an 1/8 of an inch. Wow, that's awesome. Well, I knew there was going to be some curveballs. That's still not that big of a deal. There's nothing there that tells me I can't just cut a little square out of that. My wife's gonna kill me. I better finish this before she comes out and sees what I've done. But I'm gonna have to cut just a little notch out of there. Okay, this is gonna sound a little crazy. I wanted to use something kind of wide, because I think if I won't have to make a square like two cuts and like over if I just make it wide. So I actually have a bone saw that I've never used, and I think what I'll do is just go make a little notch here. Wow. That is literally all it took, was that. That is so lucky. Straight. That sounds like fast speed. Goodness. Slow down, big girl. Yeah, I like that. Looks good. So let's do the same thing on this side. So the main reason I picked this bone saw, it's brand new, hasn't been used. It's just for the width. So all I had to do was just make just that much of a slit. That's how close it was. So there should be a gap here so I can keep that screw in there. Alright, let's look and see. So these need to be snapped in like that. Basically it. Obviously we're gonna have our strip that goes down through there. And I can move this down through. And then the next step is building my whatever kind of bracket I want to build there. Thinking just like a piece of 1x1, piece of 1x1. And then whatever this is thick as a spacer, 3/4, and then just hold that all together. Bam. Screw it in, bolt it in, whatever you gotta do. And then the screws that held into that mount aren't very thick. So I think by doing that, I could just screw in to that plywood at that point and never touch this. So it's going to be all around it. And if anything ever happened and I just wanted to put more cupboards here or whatever, I would have no holes in this. I think I like that. I know I like it. So now my next step is going to be getting this piece. And like I said, this was going to be our center here. Have to cut it down, but that'll be perfect. All right, let's go cut this. Okay, so this needs to be 19 1/4. So first thing I'm going to do, cut these holes out of the equation. That cut was so close that I'm not going to cut anymore. I'm literally just going to take off a little bit with the sandpaper. just gonna keep working at that like that until we get that to fit in there. Like I said, I don't want to cut anymore. Next step is to find where I need to cut in between these, and then we'll have a good place for that to land. Okay, so let's see how that looks. So this is kind of tricky getting in because it's actually a little bit big, but I wanted it to be snug, so I just kind of have to work it in here. Okay, so let's see how that lines up good still with that. Which it does. Now this is what I mean. I want to kind of inch this bottom over that way. Like that. Now let's see how this looks. Boy. So that's... I may do it in all reality. I think we can get away with that. Boy, if everything works well, we should both. How am I gonna get it back out? Boy. So that's about as close as you could possibly get. With those holes. Okay. So now we're up here. Makes me feel better having this done. Like I said, this was actually modification to the camper. Really only had one chance to get this right and be able to hide these. I think I'm glad to have that done. But my plan for up here, I have a couple pieces of scrap wood. I actually have a bunch of these laying around. My plan is I'm going to make like a bracket, kind of like this, okay? And then I'm going to put a spacer in between, and then a piece of plywood. And I'm going to screw those together, and maybe I'll put something between here so I'm not scratching this. And then that's literally just going to be my mount for my TV. TV will go here now. Okay, so we're on the last leg of this project. I went and got some black walnut stain, which matches this pretty good, and I just touched up these edges that I had to cut, and this actually has a laminate on it, so I was able to even take my brush and dab down in and kind of made those look a lot lighter, and then it wiped right, all the extra wiped right off, so you can't even tell I did it. So that's one good thing about that, having that laminate. I know if you're going to change that color, that laminate's real pain, but it's nice I got away with a little bit of sloppy work. So the plan right now is get this back, get this on, and then I'm going to put this, it's just a half-inch piece of plywood. I'm not going to do anything fancy, I'm just going to put a little wood glue on this, and I'm just going to screw it to the top and the bottom, and then screw it right to the back of this. So that'll go like that, bam, a little bit of support. I think what I'm going to do, just to make sure you really can't see these anyways, these little holes when the doors are shut, I might just get a little small strip of felt. It'll just make the doors shut a little quieter anyways, and it'll definitely hide them. So we're going to go ahead and do that. We got a 10 by 12 piece of half-inch plywood that I stained black as well, and that's what I'm going to use. See, these are just brackets that I made, right? So I didn't want to screw into this in case I ever wanted to put cabinet doors back on there. I didn't want a bunch of holes trying to hide, so I just made this bracket with this spacer, and that'll go on there like that. And then I'll screw a 10 by 12 sheet with that 1/2 inch plywood once it dries, and I'll screw that right into there, and that'll be my mount for my TV, and then we're all done. Just awesome storage. I mean, this is such a great project. I'm so happy this is done. Overall, probably just because of this piece here, had to notch a little bit, probably about 4 hours into this, but definitely worth it. Really just opens up this. You can even, there's outlets in here so you could do camera gear or whatever. Pretty neat. So let's get the brackets back on, and let's get this project done. How about that? Woo! What we're gonna do is hope this one shots. How about that? Oh, does that feel good? New pantry. I can already see having to put a light in there, but we got the outlet for it, so. And let's go get a level. Yeah, and we'll have to put our bracket back up. I didn't stain this because it's going to be hid. Let's get that done. Like it. Let me go get my stuff. Alright, so this is the last part, and this is going to be where my new mount is for my TV. And that's just going to sit right there. I'll probably bring it down. I won't center it on this mount just because I would rather have the flexibility of the mount being, when I put the TV up, the mount being lower so my TV doesn't hit up or down. Just the option. But this is hoping to go like this. See if I got enough hands. And then that. And these things are awesome. These grippers, quick grips, like an extra set of hands up here. wanting to push that board out the back. It's a problem. Alright, so until we get a TV, this job is done. We got our cabinets moved down to where we can reach them by using that bracket that was back here for the TV, cutting it down to size, moving it up, making our measurements real good so we don't see these holes that were left from the brackets on the TV mount. Look at that. We're going to Lowe's this afternoon anyways. I may end up just getting maybe a strip of felt to stick on there. Just no one will ever see it anyways, but yeah. Until we get a TV, this job's done. Hopefully you guys can benefit from this project. I really think it makes sense to move this down to where you can reach it. And stay tuned and watch our videos. We do campground reviews and also small little projects for the camper here and there. So thanks for watching, and like, subscribe, share, notification bell. Thank you guys. Bye.